The hum of fluorescent lights overhead was barely audible over the murmurs of the travelers lined up at Gate 12 of Commonwealth Transport. Rosa Thomas, 67 years old, stood with poise in the priority boarding lane, her rolling carry-on beside her and her phone in hand. She had just sent a message to her grandson, letting him know she'd landed early in Atlanta and was connecting to Miami. "Ma'am, I'm going to need to see your ticket again." The words were simple, but the delivery sharp. Rosa looked up slowly. A uniformed gate agent with a clipped tone and blank expression stared at her, like she'd somehow wandered into a space she didn't belong. It wasn't the question that pierced, it was the presumption. Without hesitation, she smiled softly and handed over her boarding pass. "Here you go." The agent took it, inspecting it with exaggerated scrutiny. "And your ID?" Rosa raised an eyebrow, but reached into her satchel, worn but dignified, and handed him her driver's license. The satchel had been a gift from her late husband, and like Rosa, it had aged gracefully. As the man examined her ID, Rosa scanned the line. The man ahead of her wore joggers and earbuds, scrolling his phone. Behind her, a woman dressed like a busy real estate agent sipped Starbucks and clutched a laptop bag. All of them had passed through TSA, just like her. Rosa had no checked bags and a window seat in first class. This flight wasn't about leisure. Rosa was flying to Miami to present a proposal to the board of the Southern Heritage Foundation, a project to build a museum honoring unsung civil rights figures across the Deep South. It was a dream she'd fought to fund for years. "You sure you're in the right line, ma'am?" the agent said, giving her a once-over. Not curious, but condescending. "Yes," she said, meeting his eyes with unwavering calm. "That's what my ticket says." He looked at the monitor. "Right. I'm going to need a moment." Before Rosa could reply, the jogger stepped forward. "Hey, are we boarding yet?" The agent brightened. "Yes, sir." "Welcome aboard." "No escan." No ID check. Just a smile and a wave. Rosa watched him walk down the jet bridge. Her eyes moved to the monitor. Same flight. Same seat row. She already knew. "Looks like there's been a seat reassignment," the agent said. "I'll need you to step aside." "That's not a reassignment. That's theft," Rosa said, voice steady. He gave her the look. The one reserved for people who had become a problem simply by insisting on fairness. "Ma'am, please step aside." Rosa did. Not because he was right, but because she knew how people like her were treated when they didn't comply. She took a deep breath and pulled out her phone. "Is there a supervisor I can speak to?" "Ma'am, I already told." "I'm not asking what you told me. I'm asking for your supervisor." He paused. A woman approached. Blazer wrinkled at the collar. Badge read Mollery. "Hi," Mollery said with a brittle smile. "I understand there's a concern." "There's a mistake," Rosa corrected. "I was booked in 1A. That seat was given to someone else." Mollery typed quickly. Rosa noticed the name tag. "Jason." "Yes, I see your name in 1A, Mollery said, frowning. "But it's showing as reassigned." "Without telling me," Rosa said. "That man walked right through. No ID. No boarding pass scan." "I understand your frustration," Mollery began. "No, you understand how not to escalate a scene," Rosa said evenly. Mallory's smile faltered. "First class is full now," she said. "We can offer Comfort Plus and a voucher." Rosa laughed. "A voucher?" "For humiliating a black woman in public, giving her seat to someone else, and pretending it's routine." Mollery stayed silent. Jason tapped meaninglessly on his keyboard. Travelers nearby listened. Rosa dialed a number. "Rosa," said a calm voice. "Martin, check our consulting list. Is Commonwealth Transport still under oversight?" "Yes." "You want compliance audits?" "Start tonight." Jason paled. Mollery blinked. "I'll wait here," Rosa said. "But I'm not going anywhere." A young woman nearby handed her a water bottle and nodded silently. The flight departed without Rosa. No apology. No follow-up. She sat in the lounge and opened her laptop. 10 minutes later, she was in a Zoom call with Martin, Greg from Analytics, and Layla from Legal. "They reassigned my seat," Rosa said. "No notice. I was questioned about whether I belonged." "Commonwealth owns Midway Air," Greg added. Bias flag last fall. Transparency contract review in 6 weeks. Move it up, Rosa said. By morning, their internal portal had flagged 22 bias-related incidents at boarding gates. 8 began with, "Are you sure you're in the right line?" They sent a compliance report to Commonwealth's board. Just facts. No embellishment. By noon, media outlets called for comment. Someone had recorded the exchange. No edits. No narration. Just Rosa being dismissed and Jason ushering in the jogger. The phrase, "you don't belong," echoed. Different words. Same message. Seat for Rosa trended. Not rage. Recognition. Stories poured in, of being overlooked, questioned, dismissed. Commonwealth's response. "We regret the experience, MS." Rosa Thomas faced and are conducting a full review. "We apologize for any inconvenience." Inconvenience, Layla repeated, incredulous. "They won't say the word," Rosa said. Discrimination. "Once you name it, you own it." 2 executives were put on leave. Jason vanished from the directory. Mallory was reassigned. At Rosa's office in Atlanta, she addressed her team. This wasn't about a seat. It never was. It was about that look. The one that said I didn't belong. And how we all know that look. No applause. Just reverence. That night, Rosa sat in her office, sipping tea. She opened her notebook. "Dignity is not a reward," she wrote. "It is a right." She paused. Voices echoed in the hallway. She flipped to a fresh page. "They called it an inconvenience," she wrote. "But what they meant was that my presence made them uncomfortable. Not because I was loud, but because I was undeniable." Her hand trembled not from fear, but from the gravity of legacy. She thought of her grandmother, denied a seat on a bus. Her mother, denied a promotion. Her daughter, learning to navigate boardrooms. Rosa rose and walked to the window. The city pulsed with life. Her reflection stared back, tired but unshaken. In the distance, storm clouds formed. Let them come, she thought. This time, the thunder wouldn't silence her. It would amplify.